Hi, Jason.
Hey, how's it going? How's life, guys? That's good. I'm glad
witness to a very historic event. The distinguished people you see on the stage here are the chairs of the academic departments and the members of the Executive Council of our Faculty Assembly. They stand here as representatives of all of our faculty who are sitting in the audience today. And if you've never attended a presidential installation, let me explain that in keeping with a very long-standing tradition, Church Hines, the chair of the Vermont State College's Board of Trustees, has just officially installed our new president by placing that historic chain on Dr. Scolforo. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 10th president of the modern era and the 4th woman to lead this institution since our founding in 1787, President Karen M. Scolforo.
You're here.
It is now my honor to introduce a steadfast advocate for public education and for Castleton University, the Chancellor of the Vermont State Colleges System, Jeb Spalding.
Thank you very much, Dean Spiro. So running an institution of higher education is not for the faint of heart these days. Colleges and universities all over are struggling with significant, sometimes existential challenges. However, as your chancellor, I want you to know I am totally confident Castleton will not only survive way into the future, it is going to thrive way into the future. We will continue to work together to overcome our challenges, turning them into opportunities. We will continue to count on our mission-inspired faculty and staff. We will continue to count on the goodwill and confidence of our alumni and friends, the hope and energy of our students, and the inspiration of our leaders. A year ago, right about now, Castleton and the Vermont State College's Board of Trustees was in the middle of a search for the right new president for Castleton. Let's take a moment to remember what the position announcement and advertising said about what kind of leader we were looking for. It read, "We are seeking an inspiring and collaborative leader with a deep commitment to student success and excellence in the full sense of the word. Castleton's next president will draw upon and support the creative power, resources, and talent within the university community to ensure its long-term success. The new president will facilitate and advance the academic and educational vision of the faculty and the university, effectively manage all operational areas, address the university's fiscal realities, and provide strong internal and external leadership. The next Castleton president will be comfortable leading through change, embracing shared governance, and partnering with outside educational, private, and government entities." That sounds like Dr. Scolforo to me. Many of you participated in the search for a new president last year, and I'm sure you remember that Karen Scolforo quickly rose to the top of the search, not only because she matched the position announcement so well, she rose to the top because she got Castleton. She got that Castleton was an essential part of the fabric of this community and this state. She got that Castleton's claims of strong community, high-quality academics, athletics, and extracurriculars, and lasting impact on the lives of students were real. She got the Castleton way. And for the past 9 months, nonstop, Karen and the entire Castleton team have been working to strengthen those essential elements of Castleton. And the hard work is now bearing fruit. New enrollment is up. Exciting initiatives are in the works. The budget picture is considerably brighter. Any enterprise hoping to be successful for the long run must be dynamic, able to change with the times, willing to reallocate funds at times, perhaps from a long-standing but outmoded program to new and in-demand ones. So it will be for Castleton. That's not a bad thing or something to be avoided. It's a good thing. It's a sign of strength and confidence. And my responsibility as chancellor is to ensure the strength and the future of all of our colleges and universities in the Vermont State Colleges system. But I am also a proud cheerleader for our schools. And today, it's easy to cheer for Castleton University. We have an outstanding new leader to lead this proud institution to new heights, and it will be my pleasure to watch, assist, and cheer along the way. Now I'd like to introduce the chair of the board, again, after we put on the medallion, somebody that has an incredible passion for students, for the Vermont State Colleges system, unbelievable brilliance, a good sense of humor, and a great friend of Castleton and the entire Vermont State Colleges system, Dr. Churchill Hines.
Thank you, Jeb. In every great university's history, there are moments like this when a little bit of pomp and circumstance and ceremony are absolutely appropriate, both at the beginning of an academic year, as we are today, and at the closing with commencement. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about some of that symbolism and share that with you. During the Napoleonic Wars in the late 1700s and early 1800s, the British Royal Navy operated under the leadership of 3 admirals, and they were known simply by colors: the Admiral of the Blue, the Admiral of the White, and the Admiral of the Red. They served under an Admiral of the Fleet, somewhat similar to our state college system today, with its 4 admirals, or presidents perhaps, and that would perhaps, since we need a 4th color, cast Karen as the Admiral of the Green. That would be 343 green, of course. And Jeb Spaulding as our Admiral of the Fleet. What does this have to do with today's ceremony? Andre's standing there saying, where is this guy going with history? Well, each admiral in the Royal Navy flew a highly visible and distinctive flag or pennant from the masthead of their flagship. A mostly red pennant for the Admiral of the Red, a mostly blue for the Admiral of the Blue, and so forth. And these were immediately recognized as emblems of their authority and their responsibility. Now, university presidents do not typically fly flags. Rather, they wear a medallion representing their responsibility and their authority. Presidential medallions typically bear the seal of the university and thus symbolize, in that heavy metal, the institution. The medallions are supported by chains, and they're more than just a contrivance. They have substantial meaning. They have a number of definitions, but one of my favorite ones is that each link represents the constituency of the president. A link for the students, the faculty, the deans, the alumni, the staff, the host communities, as well as representing the essential disciplines of higher education, teaching, scholarship, research, and service. And all the links connect together and hold and support the medallion, the university. The chains are heavy. They remind the wearer of the burden that they carry as leader, as the manager, and as the servant of the university. The links are also said to represent the incumbent president's ties to those who served previously. Today, Karen is supported by the shoulders of dozens of prior leaders who have served Castleton over the past 231 years. And one day she will lend her support to her successor. We believe that will be in approximately 2038. We need a nod. Our new president, our Admiral of the Green, if you will, is consulting wisely and widely to chart Castleton's newest course. The grand ship Castleton is proudly waving her green pennant. Castleton is on the move. The Vermont State College's Board of Trustees, 14 volunteer Vermonters, pledged to be there for Karen. We will assess and test her creative thinking and then enthusiastically support and sustain our agreed-upon agenda and efforts. So Godspeed, Karen, as we sail with you into newly charted waters. And as mariners often say to each other, may you have fair winds and following seas throughout your command. Congratulations and welcome aboard, Admiral.
Thank you, Trustee Hines. It is my privilege now to introduce an accomplished scholar, a great teacher, and a truly nice guy, the president of our faculty assembly, Andre Flesch.
Thank you, John. Very excited to be here. It's my great honor on behalf of the faculty to officially welcome Dr. Karen Scolforo as president of Castleton University. As you all know, Castleton's roots go back more than 200 years, and I'd like to mark this historic occasion by recalling one of the events that's shaped its character. On the night of January 3rd, 1924, Principal Carolyn Woodruff wrestled with the devastating news that a fire had destroyed the old seminary building, the precursor to today's Woodruff Hall. The school had lost most of its classrooms and offices in the blaze, and it was uncertain whether or not they would be rebuilt. Principal Woodruff sought guidance in Scripture. She opened the Old Testament at random and found on the page the following quote, "And the glory of the latter house shall be greater than that of the former." She inscribed the quotation on the newly built Woodruff Hall, and in the process offered the school a guiding statement for the modern era. Castleton's past has been marked by transformation, reinvention, and renewal. Each president and every member of the faculty and staff has been charged with carrying out Woodruff's vision of constant improvement. Today, a talented leader, Dr. Karen Scolforo, officially takes up that charge. All the faculty look forward to working with her to continue to make Castleton ever stronger and more resilient. We're excited by her energetic spirit, encouraged by her collaborative approach to governance, and inspired by her creative intellect and support for the arts. We're confident that she will succeed in leading Castleton to new heights. I'm proud to be offering her our official welcome. It's also my duty today to offer the faculty's welcome to new and returning students. At Castleton, you know you can expect to work closely with your professors inside the classroom. But I also want to point out today that there's a lot going on outside the classroom as well. In the past year or so, your professors have been hard at work on exciting projects. To cite just a few examples, in past months, biology professor Preston Garcia secured a $300,000 federal grant to conduct research alongside students. Geography professor Scott Roper published a book on baseball, and history professor Adam Chill published a book on boxing. Sociology professor Jennifer Turchi co-authored an article on family dynamics. Last summer, sports management professor Mary Beth Lennox-Levins shared her experiential learning projects at a national conference, and science professor Andrew Vermillier co-authored an article on nutrient runoff in Lake Champlain. I encourage all students to ask your professors about their interests and ask how you might get involved. We're eager to work with you. Thank you. Have a great semester.
Thank you, President Flesch. Faculty and bigwigs, you're invited to take your seats, or maybe I should say wrestle each other for the few remaining seats. Thank you. President Scolforo is not the only new employee here today. So, as we always do on this occasion, I will now introduce the new faculty and staff who have joined us since our previous convocation. Accordingly, would the following new Spartans please stand And stay standing so we can check you out. Allison Berrybolt, head coach, women's lacrosse. Shane Blair, custodian. Reed Breckner, who joined us back in January as assistant director of the McNair Scholars Program. Sarah Coulter Danner, full-time professor of nursing. Patricia Gordon, who started in December as our Upward Bound Student Development Coordinator. Melissa Gordon, full-time professor of nursing. Harpreet Kaur, full-time professor of nursing. Christine Kemp, head coach, field hockey. I wonder how the middle of this audience is going to react when I say Casey McDonald, assistant coach, football. Apparently the football players have louder voices than the nurses, but okay. Rachel Sayward, area coordinator. Michael Scott, public safety officer. Dale Solotruck, head coach, women's volleyball. Michael Venezia, who was just hired as the head coach of women's ice hockey. And Jerry Volpe, coordinator of disability services. Thank you all. I know you're going to love working here as much as we do. Please be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce my very good friend, the dynamic president of the Student Government Association, James Wolfe.
Long walk. Good afternoon. On behalf of myself and the entire Student Government Association, I would like to congratulate Dr. Scolforo on her installation as president of Castleton University. I wish you success on your first full academic year here at Castleton. To begin, a quote from American writer Tom Peters states, "Leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders." This quote exemplifies what we in the Student Government Association do. We create more leaders. We create a voice for all students. We foster opportunities to grow and to learn. We assist in the development of relationships and connections. We are the Student Government Association of Castleton University, and we are here for you. For those that do not know me, my name is James Wolfe, and I will be your Student Government Association President for the 2018 and 2019 academic year. I will strive to ensure that we in SGA are the voice for you, the students. As a future educator, I would like to bestow upon you some fun student government facts. Did you know that the student government has 3 branches? They are the Student Congress, the Student Court, and the Campus Activities Board. Within these branches are some of the most dedicated students which volunteer their time to make Castleton feel like a home for all students, whether they be an athlete, an artist, an international student, a non-traditional student, etc. We plan activities so that students can have fun. We undertake projects to better the campus. and we hold other students accountable for their actions. But enough about us, let's talk about you. You are the reason that we even exist. Therefore, I have some expectations for you as well. I expect that you become involved. Join one of the many clubs that student government recognizes. Start a new club. I expect that you get to know us. I expect that you follow the Castleton way. I expect that if you have an idea, you do not keep it to yourself. Come and see one of us, email us, or drop by the student government office in the campus center. Follow us on Facebook, and we will be updating that Facebook page constantly to keep you up to date on what we are doing. So, on behalf of the Student Government Association, welcome home, and I cannot wait for the many experiences we will get to share and all that we will accomplish this semester and this year. I wish you success in all to come, and I will leave you with one final quote from John F. Kennedy. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. So may you learn, may you lead, and have a phenomenal year. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. And now it's time to give the Outstanding Alumni Award. So I present to you a man who is always giving to this institution, the treasurer of our Alumni Association, and himself a previous recipient of the Outstanding Alumni Award from the class of 1960, the legendary Gary Quinn.
Thank you, Dean Spiro. President Scolforo, congratulations on your inauguration. And it's my pleasure on behalf of the Castleton Alumni Association to welcome you into the Castleton family. A warm and hearty Castleton welcome also to our special guests, Chancellor Jeb Spalding and Chairman Dr. Churchill Hines, and students, faculty, staff, and alumni as we begin the new academic year. For the second time in 3 years, the Alumni Association has delved into that sparsely populated and remote area of Vermont known as the Northeast Kingdom to recognize its outstanding alum. A 1986 graduate of MSJ Academy in Rutland, he spent several years in the hospitality industry, most of which was at the Mountaintop Inn and Resort in Chittenden. During this time, he took numerous classes here at Castleton, but it wasn't until about 1995 that he decided to aggressively seek to obtain his bachelor's degree, which he received in 1998. In 1999, he moved to Burlington after accepting a position with the Sheraton Hotel, but after graduating from Castleton, he took an interest in law. He was admitted to the Concord Law School in 2003, received his Juris Doctorate with honors in 2007. He was admitted to the Vermont Bar in 2011, and in 2014, he ran a very successful campaign for State's Attorney of Grand Isle County, which resulted in his unseating a 12-year incumbent. He has been State's Attorney there since February 2015. I am proud to present the Castleton University Alumni Association's Outstanding Alumni for 2018 from the class of 1998, Vermont State's Attorney for Grand Isle County, Doug DeSapio.
Good afternoon. Just a little geography lesson. Grand Isle County is in the northwestern part. Vince Aluzzi is the Essex County State's Attorney. That's the Northeast Kingdom. I'm in the islands. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to start by saying how deeply honored I am to have been chosen to receive Castleton University's Outstanding Alumni Award this year. More than anything, I am deeply humbled. I'm also thrilled to be back here at Castleton after nearly 20 years. It's hard to believe that it's been almost 2 decades since I graduated. I consider it my privilege to have been associated with Castleton since graduating in '98. Growing up in Rutland, I always considered Castleton as our local college. Castleton's mission was, and continues to be, in part, to produce graduates who will aspire to more than a successful career. Castleton has always aimed to graduate leaders who will make an impact for good on both their local community and the larger world. Castleton's values of integrity and excellence were central in my education then, as they are for today's students 2 decades later. The skills that I learned here at Castleton provided me with a solid foundation for my career, and are truly what I believe allowed me to succeed in all aspects of my life. I am confident that those here at Castleton can and will do the same for all students presently enrolled here. I didn't graduate from Castleton until I was 30 years old, and at the age of 35 I decided to make a career change, and I wanted to be a lawyer. And at the age of 39, I graduated from Concord Law School, becoming Vermont's first Juris Doctor recipient from a solely online law school. It's a law school that's now associated with Purdue University. At the age of 42, I passed the Vermont Bar and was sworn in. And at the age of 46, I was elected as one of Vermont's 14 elected state's attorneys. And as of 2 weeks ago, I became both the Democratic and Republican nominee in my re-election as the Grand Isle County State's Attorney. In my role as Chief Law Enforcement Officer, I strive every day to make a positive impact in the Grand Isle County community, my home for the last 18 years. I serve on the board of directors of 2 Grand Isle County nonprofit organizations, one that promotes the arts and fosters creativity, and the other that provides essential services to elders and people with disabilities in our community. I'm also a mentor of a 3rd grader at the North Hero Elementary School. And in an effort to make a positive impact in the larger world, last year, I'm proud to say I was one of just 30 prosecutors nationwide selected by the National District Attorneys Association to serve on their newly formed opioids working group in an effort to combat our nation's opioid epidemic. And while challenging, I believe we are making significant progress. I remain at all times committed to my community and dedicated to seeking justice on behalf of the entire state of Vermont. With humility, I am proud of myself, and it gives me great pride to know that Castleton is proud of me too. I'd like to think as I stand here, I stand here as a leader, as a testament to Castleton's mission of graduating leaders, and like me and countless other Castleton alumni, one who will go out into this world and make an impact for good in their local community and beyond. Just like to thank Castleton University for the education that I received here. I'd like to thank a woman by the name of Carolyn Shattuck. She was a local artist, and she is a local artist here in the Round community and an outstanding adjunct professor during my time here, and she really inspired me. I want to thank the Castleton Association, the Alumni Association Board for selecting me for this award. My parents who are with me today, Jim and Eleanor DeSabato, for all their love and support. My 2 best friends since high school at MSJ, Nick Spanos and Renee Rhodes, who are also here. I want to thank the residents of Grand Isle County for welcoming me into their community 18 years ago and having the confidence in me by electing me and supporting me as their public safety advocate. And my domestic partner of 19 years, David Fitzgerald, who I love very much. I am so honored to be the recipient of this Outstanding Alumni Award exactly 20 years from when I graduated here. And I see this award as a nod, as a statement of encouragement that I am on the right path in my life. I sincerely thank Castleton for this honor.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Doug. You make us beam with pride. Thank you so much. President Scolforo asked our next two guests, a member of our faculty and a member of our staff, to present a gift, a musical gift, to the Spartan community. So, I invite to the stage from the Natural Sciences Department the lovely and talented Helen Mango, and from the IT Department, the lovely and talented Jonathan Czar.
I hope you know somebody loves you and wants the same thing.
Dr. Karen M. Scolforo was born and raised in New England, and like many Castleton students, was a first-generation college student. She earned a bachelor's degree in education, an MFA in creative writing, another master's in writing and literature, and a doctorate of education with a cognate in higher ed administration and finance. She has served as a leader of 4 institutions, most recently as president of Central Penn College. During her tenure there, Dr. Scolforo restored campus facilities, added graduate and undergraduate programs, and forged strategic partnerships with regional leaders that helped the advancement of her students and of that region. Dr. Scolforo is the recipient of numerous awards. In just the last 2 years, she has been honored as a Woman of Excellence by the YWCA, a Woman of Influence by the Central Penn Business Journal, and in 2017, she was named Central Link's Businesswoman of the Year. Last year, as you heard from our chancellor, we conducted a national search for a new president, and Dr. Scolforo was the unanimous choice of the Spartan community. In December, she moved into the president's office, and between her and Rita and Meredith, I have not had a peaceful moment since. In the 9 months since she joined us, Dr. Scolforo has taken strong steps to balance our budget. She developed exciting new programs to bolster enrollment. She embarked on a strategic planning initiative, and she convened 3 faculty task forces that devoted hundreds of hours to investigating cost-saving measures, assessing the viability of new academic programs, and exploring new delivery models. She also, and I don't think she ever got enough credit for this, arrested climate change and brought peace to the Middle East. It is my pleasure to introduce one more time President Scolforo.
Hi, everybody. This is a really special moment. I want to start with my thank yous. First to Chancellor Spalding and Dr. Hines, and I know on behalf of the Board of Trustees, thank you for conferring investiture today. Thank you for your affirmation of my abilities, your faith in my leadership, and your belief in my commitment to advance this amazing institution to the highest level of preeminence. I'm grateful, I'm humbled, I'm appreciative. Thank you to everyone that's here. I'm blessed to have family, so of course you have to do family next. My beloved daughter, Danielle James, and her husband, my son-in-law, my son, Dalton James, and my family and friend, Dana Klebs, in the front row. Thank you for being here, you guys. We have so many, I'm so appreciative of all of the people in the room and so many very, very special people among us. We have government officials, we have trustees, we have members of the Chancellor's Office who drove to be here today. We have alumni, we have community members, we have fellow Vermont presidents, and most special of all are our beloved students, our faculty, and our staff who make my life a joy being here every single day and who I'm so delighted to serve. I am so grateful for all of your vote of confidence because I don't for one moment ever forget that it was you who made the decision to bring me here. And for that, I will always be grateful. And for those of you who don't know this, I often start meetings and staff and faculty meetings reminding these very important people in our lives how appreciative I am that they brought me here and that I remember that every day. So I wanted to start there. So who are we at Castleton? Many of you are aware of the Castleton Way, which is an amazing culture here at Castleton that I cannot take the credit for. You heard Dr. Hines talk about the many shoulders of my predecessors that I stand upon every day. I will also share with you that I came into a situation where our leadership team, our faculty, our staff were like no other I have ever worked with. And I don't know if you all know this, but and I just came back from a new President's Academy, 30 new presidents in public institutions, sharing ideas, learning from the best. Faculty who are seasoned presidents who have worked in the state sector for many, many, many years, helping us to be successful in our roles. What I learned is many of their contracts include a clause where they're able to bring their team members with them. It actually says, as part of your contract, you can have 3 cabinet members, 4 faculty, 6 staff members, without doing a search, just bring them. You know, I don't want to bring anyone here. I feel so blessed. This is such an incredibly strong team. And I credit my predecessor, Dave Walk, who we'll be honoring on Saturday morning and dedicating the athletic stadium that is currently Castleton Spartan Stadium, which will become Dave Walk Stadium. And I hope you'll be here at 11 o'clock to do that. But here's what else I want you to know. Look at where our students hail from. This culture of the Castleton Way is bigger than all of us put together. This is this incredible historical legacy that is a draw for students all across the globe, and I had evidence of it 2 hours ago. So here's my story that I wouldn't tell anyone, but I said there's like this thing that happens where something happens to you that day that you just know you're supposed to tell that story. I was walking down the corridor at Woodruff Hall, 2nd floor, where my office is located, in case you don't know, and there was a student bent over the long table on the side studying one of our campus maps. So I approached him and I said, "What are you trying to find? Maybe I can help you." Well, he stood up and he looked at me and he went, "Actually, I'm looking for you." So first I need to explain, I've had the honor of addressing new students many times. New registration, orientations, our formal matriculation ceremony this past weekend, which was pure delight. The energy in the pavilion would absolutely blow you away. So I was honored, and I said, "Well, pleased to meet you. I'm President Scolforo. This gentleman hails from Tibet. He told me his name and said, 'Don't worry, you don't have to remember that. I go by Snow.' So he said, 'The reason I'm looking for you is that it's my culture, when I arrive at a place like this, my new home for the next 4 years, that I seek out the representation of the host of this university, which would be you as the president.' And he said, 'I have this for you.' And he opened the package, and he brought out this white scarf. And he said, 'This is a Tibetan kata. You put it on with the seam against your skin,' and he went towards me to put it around my neck. And when he put it around my neck, he did it sort of like this. And then he pulled this piece like this so that the scarf ran around my neck and wrapped it around. And when he did that, it created a warmth around my neck. And he said, 'It's white for pure of heart, and the gift is to wish you good luck.' So when I got back to my office, I opened the card that accompanied this beautiful gift, which I'm going to carefully place right here. And this is what the card said. 'I choose Castleton, and Castleton has chosen me.'" So, 36 countries, 26 states, and growing. And diversity is so important to us because our students learn in the classroom not only from their very talented and highly credentialed faculty, but also from each other, from their peers. And for some students who haven't traveled, either domestically or internationally, our students have an opportunity to be exposed to new ways of looking at the world, new ways of living, and it expands their minds. And I know a perfect example of what I just shared with you. I learned something wonderful today. So one of the things that we have to recognize, and this presentation is going to be sort of going forward, and it's not going to be terribly long, because I know that you're all probably thinking, you know, this big, long speech. It's only going to be about, I think it's 60 minutes. Should be too bad. That's okay, right? So here's what we know. The University of Pennsylvania did a study, and they looked at higher education across the country. And they looked at risks for different states and our nation to assess the need for a workforce that has pursued some form of post-secondary education. So I thought this was a really fascinating report. Vermont fared fairly well, but it's really important that we are aware as educators of what the needs are going to be in the workplace in our state so that we are serving Vermonters. We are a public institution, and that's our responsibility. So here's what we learned. If we do nothing more than what we're doing today, we will fall short by almost 40,000 workers. So one of the really cool things, you heard Dr. Hines talk about the ships within the system. We're working very hard, all of our institutions, to differentiate ourselves so that we can each be experts in different areas to meet the needs of the workforce as we move towards 2025. So here's the disconnect in Vermont that you may find fascinating if you weren't aware. Did you know that we rank #1 in the country for high school graduates? 93% of our young adults graduate from high school. That is a staggeringly wonderful statistic. But here's the interesting disconnect. Only about 24% pursue some form of post-secondary education. And there's lots of reasons for that. We need to find out what they are and help families to be able to send their students to some form of post-secondary education so that when they go to pursue their careers, they're prepared. So there's three main things that we're doing at Castleton University as a team, and I'm going to be talking a lot about collaboration. But let's start with transformation. I was invited to Dean Spiro's faculty orientation, during which he showed a whole bunch of statistics about the success of our students. He has clear evidence that we are providing a transformational experience for our students. The faculty are collecting evidence when a student starts at Castleton as a freshman, how they feel about certain things. Things like, do you think you will be successful? Will you finish your degree? Do you feel qualified and capable of pursuing and completing all of your coursework? Do you feel confident in your area? Do you believe you're going to get a career that you dream of? Then, the same questions, and those are my paraphrase, I don't have it in front of me. Senior year, same survey. All I can tell you is the graph goes like this. That's transformation. So we pride ourselves, and it's part of our mission, to provide a transformational experience for our students. And that means a holistic education. You keep hearing the president, the student government president, James Wolfe, saying, please get involved with extracurricular, co-curricular activities. Statistics show that students who get involved are more likely to graduate and be successful, and their resume is stronger. They're more likely to get selected in the interview process. Get involved. So we know that we're going to do this transformational experience for our students. We as a university also have to transform to keep up with the changes in the world. For example, stand back.
But Holland comes in for a pit stop. Time to refuel and change tires. Lewmore himself changes the tires. Only 4 crew members, including the driver, are allowed to work on the car. It's a tense time. Holland stays in his seat, anxious to get away. Let's watch. Polishes the windshield as Holland moves away just 67 seconds after he stopped.
So here are a couple pictures of Woodruff Hall. As you know, Castleton University dates back to 1787, 231 years. Well, one of the things that we're hearing from consumers of higher education across the country is that higher education hasn't kept up with the times. How do we become innovative in such a way to meet the future? Coming here to Castleton University, one of the things that stood out to me is that we are moving and shaking. We are transforming. And one of the reasons for that is a commitment to shared governance and the voices in the room having the autonomy and a place at the table to say the important things that are on their minds that will help us to move into the future. You heard Dean Spiro talk about the faculty task forces that were convened last spring. The reports that were generated were groundbreaking. There's a reason that shared governance and curriculum sits with faculty, because they are truly the experts in this area. But when you think about the metaphor of the pit stop, and you think about the changes in our world, in the workplace today, compared to how it was in 1950, what people are juggling, what their lives look like, 2-income households, families, children, more than one person going to college, trying to juggle all of that and more, caring for aging parents. There's so many things that people are trying to juggle, and this higher education is their chance to advance and to get to a place where they can change a socioeconomic status for their families and their children. So what is the future of Castleton University going to look like? Collaboration is going to be key. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. We're wrapping up soon, I promise. I was at a conference at the Vermont College of Fine Arts a couple weeks ago. We stayed in traditional dormitories, double-stacked hallways, cinder block rooms, no air conditioning, windows that may or may not have opened. My room had a small screen about this big, but it was secured. So the window wouldn't open. You couldn't put a fan in the window. It was flush. So the air didn't move at all. It was in the mid-80s, and I think my room was probably in the low 90s. So everyone had a box fan in their room, but there were no plugs anywhere near the window. So I called public safety or residence life and asked for an extension cord, and they graciously brought that over. I tried dragging a chair in front of the window and put the fan on the chair, but it gave me no relief because the window was too high. So I had a stack of water bottles. I put the water bottles, I stacked the fan on that, ran that, still didn't really nothing, no relief at all. So then I just tried moving the fan closer and at least have some breeze on me to move the air a little bit. It was just miserable. I never got that room cool. The last night of the conference, the youngest person in the conference just recently completed her MFA, was there for this writing workshop, which was a postgraduate, you had to have your MFA to go. She invited a number of us to her room where there was, the stick-on tattoos and great music. She had the cool boombox, and we walked in her room. What she did is she had turned the chair around so the back of the chair was facing the window, and she balanced the fan on the back of the chair leaning on the screen. And the room was the coolest in the building. And we were just thinking, stop everything. We've got to do this too. And we all ran back to our rooms, propped up the fans on our chairs. I actually had to wear a sweater that night to sleep. It's a great lesson. My mind just doesn't work that way. I would never have come up with that. I don't care how long you left me there in 92 degrees. I would have never come up with that on my own. And this is just one example of why collaboration is critically important. The best solutions are almost always the simplest and the things that we just don't see because we're too close to it. I'm a huge fan of sharing ideas and piggybacking on each other and learning from each other. And I believe that every single person we come in contact with has a lesson for us. So collaboration. Our collaboration here starts with our faculty assembly. Our faculty are responsible and they have complete authority over curriculum. They're the ones that are strengthening academic programs. They're the ones that are assessing labor market statistics and Vermont regional needs and state needs and national needs and global needs. They're doing that hard work. Every single faculty assembly, they're bringing proposed changes to the team to keep us at the forefront of what is needed in our state, our nation, and the globe. Our Student Government Association is our student voice. I encourage every student to be a part of this organization. Your perspective is so important to us. We cannot experience what you're experiencing. We can only guess what you're experiencing. And by the way, there are comment boxes all around campus that come directly to me. You can find me in Woodruff Hall. You can talk to Rita Gino. You can join student government. And we're doing, actually it's going to be on the next slide, we're starting a new Student Advisory Council for Innovation. And this is going to be your chance to just share your ideas and leave your legacy at Castleton University. Our Alumni Association, they are our experts, they are our experience, they are our workforce that's coming back and saying, here's what we need to do better. They are your mentors. They are our pride. Our Council of Presidents, that's within the Vermont State Colleges system. This is the first time in my career that I've had the opportunity to work with these three esteemed leaders who I learn from every single meeting. And it's truly a joy because we're so different, and that is the greatest blessing. And then the Board of Trustees, and you heard Dr. Hines talk about their role in shared governance. They are the ultimate authority for the system. And trust me, if we want to move on initiatives, we need to have the data to back it up. They take their roles very seriously because they want to protect our students, our alumni, the value of your diploma. Our legislative officials, many of you know that Vermont, we're actually, depending on, I guess, which reading, we're either 49 or 50th in the country for state appropriations. At Castleton, only 9% of our revenue comes from the state. And I think the good news is we have so many government officials that understand and appreciate the value of our institutions and how we are the ones who are serving more Vermonters than all of the other institutions put together in Vermont, to quote Jeb Spalding. So they're stepping up, and we're going to partner together to really see some changes there. Our Castleton Bridge Initiative, this is another thing that you can get involved in, and this is our local residents being engaged with what we do here at Castleton. The Spartan newspaper, and I'll just let you read them. I promise not to read the slides. Here's the new stuff. The Student Advisory Council is a nomination process. You have to be nominated by a staff or faculty member. You need to have at least a 2.5 GPA. You have to show leadership and creativity, and we want you. The IMC Practicum is a brand new program for students from each discipline. Will be stepping up to work in a marketing campaign, peer-to-peer, learning real-time, real-world skills, resume builder. It's going to be incredible. It is led by Jeff Weld, our Dean of Advancement. And I'm going to just keep going here. So, innovation. The biggest thing about Castleton University is we stand at the ready. We are nimble. And we can work and be responsive to local and regional employers. We can customize curriculum. We can do what needs to be done to prepare our workforce for a global positions. These are just some of the things that came out of the new delivery model task force that we're looking at in terms of innovation. What we're working on with new working professionals. I'm buzzing through now because I feel like I'm talking too long. And then research opportunities for our undergraduate and graduate students is huge. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. So what's new for this year? All of the stuff we just said. But we're also working on some new program development, serving adult learners, looking at some new schedule options, some new accelerated programming to serve a working professional. Looking at advancing early college through our Fine and Performing Arts Academy that is designed for fine artists who want to come and do their first year of early college here in a very formal structure that they actually have to apply to. And a culture of fundraising and engaging with our faculty assembly in new and exciting ways. We remain committed to a liberal arts education, because we know that when you look at the top 20 skills that employers across the globe are looking for, they all fit in the liberal arts education. We're preparing students to love learning. We're preparing students to think on their feet, to think critically. This is, when we partner that with increased access to workforce learning and pre-professional studies, we are preparing our students to be competitive upon graduation. I guess sorry. Yes, it's time. 1 sec. So first let me say, because we're about to go into this wonderful magical performance, I just want to thank you all again for coming. I hope we'll get a chance to chat in the back. Please look me up. To our students, I'll enjoy seeing you every day on campus. Enjoy this.
Thank you, Professor Blodgett. Students, you may go to Hewden. Faculty, you may throw your mortars into the rafters. Not really. Thank you all for coming. Have a great year, everybody. Thank you.